Hi, Sean from Cinetalk. It's my first day at FrightFest and I've just come out from seeing my first film of FrightFest 2010. The film was Cherry Tree Lane. So Cherry Tree Lane is directed by Paul Andrew Williams. You might have seen London to Brighton. You probably would have seen The Cottage, both his previous films. The story of Cherry Tree Lane goes something like this. You got this couple, they're sort of middle class, they live on Cherry Tree Lane. Middle class, they come home, it's like a regular day for them, they come home from work and they're sort of bickering. There's a lot of talk about things that you won't understand. It's kind of like we've come in halfway through a conversation that we don't quite get, and it sort of gives you that feeling of not belonging there. So whilst they're talking or arguing and discussing whether to have the TV on or off, letting things that were in the past go, I don't know. A lot of this talk is just to pass the time. The subject of their son also comes up, Sebastian. Something about his druggy friends. He's not at home, they're waiting for him to come home from football. He'll be home around 9 o'clock. These are the things we know. Doorbell rings, some guys charge in, some youths, and proceed to tie them up. Tell them that they're going to cut their fucking face off. Things like this. Act very threatening. And we learn that they're there waiting for Sebastian to come home because they're going to kill Sebastian. Later on in the film, we understand why. It's because Sebastian has ratted out one of the intruder's cousins, etc, etc. They want revenge. The whole film is set inside the living room. Is pretty motionless. We don't really move from the living room very often. It's about 80 minutes long. To start off with, I didn't like the first 2/3 of this film. I found them very slow moving, and for an 80-minute film, or a film that's an hour and 20 minutes, the first, hour of those hour and 20 minutes is really long. It feels really long. I found myself not really caring for the characters, not really having any connection. I didn't find that the character development was very good. I didn't feel there was a story that needed to be told through this film. It was all relying on the fact that when Sebastian got home, what was going to happen. Pretty much it all hinged on that. There wasn't a lot of violence. There was some rape. But there wasn't like a terrible load of violence, on-screen violence anyway. A lot of the violence was implied or hidden with very clever camera angles. When Sebastian finally comes home, the last 20 minutes of the film are pretty good. They're pretty tense. It's what the film's been building up, but it's all a bit of an anti-climax because it's all over so fast. Everything that they've threatened to do comes to something we don't ever see. We don't ever see Sebastian get stabbed. We see the aftermath, but there are a lot of things hidden from this film that could have really benefited the telling of the tiny little story that needed to be told. Now, I wasn't expecting an all-out slasher or all-out horror, but there were so many uninteresting elements about the story and the storytelling techniques of this film that just made me almost want to walk out. Within the first half hour of the film, I felt like I wanted to walk out. Now, I don't walk out of movies. The film felt very British. It was very talky. It was almost like it wasn't quite a mumblecore movie hidden inside a horror movie or a psychological thriller movie. It's definitely more thriller than it is horror. And I think if you liked The Cottage, or if you've seen London to Brighton, you like that, then you probably will get something out of this film. Just for me, I wasn't pulled in, I wasn't excited, I wasn't interested. Paul Andrew Williams did a Q&A afterwards, after the film, and he seems like a really cool guy. You know, so much praise for him because he's a British filmmaker. I hope that the next film he does is a little bit more interesting. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean I didn't really feel drawn in by the film.